What's going on, everyone? Last night, LeBron James had an absolute historic night, becoming the first player in NBA history to score 40 points against every team in the league. And this is just one accomplishment in a career of multiple and just many accomplishments, and is very likely in the near future going to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Unfortunately, this didn't lead to a win, and nobody else really showed up outside of LeBron James. It was a really unfortunate game and just is really frustrating, right? LeBron really needs some help on this team. And the Clippers just ran us out the building. They've now won 10 straight, and they just really had our number as of late. But it looks like the reinforcements are coming, and we do have some good news. Now, I do think LeBron James is very likely to sit tonight. I do imagine with everything that he's just been, his workload lately, before we go into this road trip, you would imagine that they would want to get him some rest, let him get his body right. That way we can make a run and a push here going into this road trip, and we're playing the San Antonio Spurs. But like I said, reinforcements are coming. Anthony Davis is officially back, and this could not come at a better time. We were able to weather the storm up until this point. We didn't have like a just total disaster meltdown without Anthony Davis. This team at least competed for the most part, and now AD's back, and if he can just return to form what he was before injury, I think we're going to win some games, and I think we'll be a playoff team. At the bare minimum, I think we'll be a play-in team. We've really kind of turned around the season for the most part. We just had such a lackluster start that now we're playing catch-up. Anthony Davis coming back, I think, is absolutely huge. Also worth noting is that Rui Hachimura, he is going to play his first game against the San Antonio Spurs. I will dedicate an entire video to that in and of itself. I just believe that Anthony Davis's return is big enough to warrant its own video. So we'll talk about this and then look forward to that video later today about Rui Hachimura. I'm really excited for that. But sticking with Anthony Davis, we are terrible defensively, right? And Anthony Davis is the difference between us being like a bottom, 3 defense to a top 15 defense. He is just that good and covers just that much ground. Also, just to have that threat in the post, just to help defense, being able to get out on the perimeter. Although, you don't want Anthony Davis having to guard the perimeter too often or too heavily, but he is a guy that can step out there. He's a guy that can he's just a monster, right, on both sides of the ball, and impacts the game in just such a way that very few players in today's game and just in the history of the game have been able to do. He is a real, unicorn or alien or whatever you want to call it, right? He's that true impact player and was playing like the best player in the world before injury. If he can get back to that player, then I think we're going to be okay, right? I think that we've already made a nice move in Rui Hachimura. I believe personally, this is just my thoughts, that the Lakers are going to make other moves, right? At this point, you have to, right? Because you were trying to preserve your cap space, right? Well, now you're going to have to re-sign Rui, and on top of that, you're going to want to keep like Austin Reeves. And so like that's basically your cap. Between Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves, you're pretty much locked in your cap space. Maybe you have like 15 million left over, so that could get you maybe a quality like mid-tier level guy. Maybe you could get like 2 quality role guys, but realistically, you're not going to get very much. So if you can get the guys now, push your chips to the table, go all in. LeBron James is playing like he's, the best player in the world again. He's top 10 easily. And then Anthony Davis, when he was playing the way he was playing, he's top 10, right? So, I mean, you have 2 top 10 players. There's not another team in the league that has 2 top 10 players. And you trust these two with the right pieces to get you to the playoffs and then win you a championship. The West is so wide open. I mean, from the 5th seed to the 13th seed is only separated by like 2-3 games. So the Lakers, you go on a nice little win streak here. You go win 7 straight, 8 straight, something like that. All of a sudden, you're like the 5th seed in the West, and now you just got to maintain the rest of the way. And if Anthony Davis can be a big part of that, Rui, if he can kind of come into his zone, you do a trade or two, you might be right there, right? Especially with LeBron and the way he's playing. I just think Anthony Davis is the workhorse. Said it from day one. We go as far as Anthony Davis takes us, right? Anthony Davis is the engine that drives this car. We have the car, we have the pieces, it's all put together, but you don't have the engine to really get the car moving. And Anthony Davis is that engine that gets the car moving. He just is so impactful on both sides of the ball, like I mentioned earlier, and a guy that just makes up for so many of our weaknesses and so many of our holes, which there are a lot of them, right? Shooting, defense, rebounding, all of those things, right? Half court offense, right? We've been terrible in the half court. Anthony Davis helps with that because he's a guy that you can just dump the ball down to, run some sets, run some plays, run the pick and roll. It just, he can do everything. 3-level scorer. He was improving on his shot from 3-point range in the mid-range before injury, which hopefully, again, if he can get back to that, that would be huge and really open up a lot of things for us. Just being able to not get bullied down low, I think is huge as well. And just, he's got to stay healthy. That's the biggest thing. Like, we cannot afford Anthony Davis to miss another 6 weeks. That's what he missed leading into today's game, where he's supposed to return. He's going to be on minute restriction. Understandable. You want to kind of ease him into it. You want to get him a game under his belt, and then you get ready for the Celtics game. I completely understand that, and this road trip period, but he's got to stay healthy. Now, Anthony Davis, he's going to miss games here and there, right? Whether it's through rest or like a little, nagging thing or whatever, he's going to miss some time. That's without a doubt. He's going to miss probably at least another handful of games. But there's a difference between missing a game here and there in certain spots and kind of picking your spots where he misses games rather than him just getting hurt and now he's out for the entirety of the season or, 6 weeks or, whatever, to where like your season's basically done, right? Anthony Davis needs to be able to stay on the court. He needs to be able to be healthy come the playoffs. Because if you have a healthy and motivated Anthony Davis, a healthy and motivated LeBron James, we're good. I will take my chances with those two, and I will trust that those two can get us to the promised land, right? Playoff LeBron, playoff AD, both have been absolute monsters. Last time we were there, we looked like we were going back-to-back, right? You win in 2020, right? You win the bubble year. The next year, we're playing the Phoenix Suns. We're up 2-1. It looked like we were about to go up 3-1. LeBron James is making Jay Crowder look like his son. They had zero answer for Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is just bullying them. And it was looking like the Phoenix Suns were about to collapse and we were going to run away with this and likely get to the finals and very likely win the finals. I think we matched up a lot better against the Milwaukee Bucks. So if that would have happened, who knows what would happen? Who knows what type of history would have been rewritten? But unfortunately, Anthony Davis goes down. And then LeBron James, he just didn't have enough at that point. And, the Phoenix Suns come back, they win that game, and then the rest is history. And it's just really unfortunate. And look, lots of stars, most stars in today's NBA miss games, right? I mean, Kevin Durant, you had Jamal Murray, you've had basically every Devin Booker, right? Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, like the list goes on and on of stars and players in general that have missed 6 weeks, a month, several weeks, whatever. It's kind of became part of the game. But there's a couple things about that. One, it's the timing, right? Anthony Davis always seems to go down at like the worst time, and hopefully, knock on wood, that can change this go around and that won't happen. But beyond just timing of his injury, we don't have the roster to really win games consistently without Anthony Davis. Yes, we were able to weather the storm, but it took LeBron James averaging like 35 points a game and like 9 rebounds and 8 assists. Like, he had to basically go super mode just for us to basically hover around 500 with Anthony Davis out. We're not at 500 yet record-wise, but while Anthony Davis was out in those stretch of games, LeBron James was able to kind of keep us afloat, and we had some nice games. We even won a game without LeBron. Russ had a nice game, and we ended up winning that game, and LeBron didn't have a good game. There was a couple games where LeBron just had off nights, and the team was really able to step up and kind of carry the workload. But Anthony Davis coming really just takes pressure off LeBron, takes pressure off of some of the role guys so they feel a little more confident, right? It's nice. It's easy to be a little more confident when you have your second best player or arguably best player overall at this point to back on the court, right? Because now you feel like, okay, like I have this guy behind me that can make up if I get beat, or all I got to, like, I'm not a good defender. I can funnel I don't have to lock this guy down. I just need to force him to Anthony Davis and trust that Anthony Davis is going to clean up the mess, which he's great at, right? And so he's a guy that just impacts the game on so many fronts for the Lakers and does so much for this Lakers team. And so luckily we were able to weather the storm. But we don't have a team that's that good to where it's like, okay, Anthony Davis can miss a month and we're still okay. We can still, win. We can win a good majority of our games, right? Like the Clippers, for example, just using them because, they just handed it to us. But also, they are in a very similar situation, right? Kawhi Leonard misses like half the season every year. Paul George misses like a quarter of the season every year. But they just have enough talent and depth to where they're able to kind of basically be a play-in team at the worst without their stars. And then when their stars do play, they win more games than they would otherwise, and then that makes them a playoff team. And if everyone's healthy come the playoffs, well, then you're arguably a contender, if not one of the best teams in the league, right? So that's the issue. That's the difference between the Lakers and the Clippers. I think the Lakers have the better of the two stars. I think LeBron James is better than both Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and I think Anthony Davis is better than Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. We match star-wise, right? I give us the added bonus, but we don't have anywhere near the depth and the overall talent that like a team like the Clippers have, and that's a real problem. And so when you lose Anthony Davis for a good chunk, you don't have the talent to be able to maintain and win consistently enough to where it's like, okay, like we don't have to rush Anthony Davis back. We can let Anthony Davis kind of sit and marinate and kind of make sure he's 100%, right? And hopefully he is. Hopefully they're not prematurely rushing him to come back. Hopefully he can stay healthy because we need him. We absolutely need him. Hopefully this 6-week layoff for him was able to get his body right. He had some he had nagging back injury and, just a couple little things that were just bothering him and just kind of aching on him. He's had 6 weeks to just basically rest and get his body right, get his mind right, get everything right to where he can get a fresh start, right? And that could be huge for Anthony Davis the rest of the way. He basically just got, a mini break. Because he had it in his foot, he wasn't doing ample exercise or, working hard and doing all these like crazy drills and stuff. No, they slowly worked him back, and now they want to get his game legs under him. He was doing scrimmages, doing practices, was able to participate full force. That's huge. That's good information. And hopefully Anthony Davis can kind of take this and go, okay, like I'm good, I'm healthy, I'm ready to go. Let's get out here. Let's go get this W against the Spurs with or without LeBron James, which again, I do believe that LeBron James is going to sit. I think they'll kind of let Anthony Davis and Rui Hachimura, I think those two will kind of get their shine in this game, right? I think that'll be huge. And so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But this is absolutely fantastic. Could not be happier. This is the news we needed to go from, winning a couple games, going on a little win streak. Yes, we lost the Clippers, but like think of like just the good news we just keep getting, right? Went on a nice little win streak. We're not that far out of playoffs. We're right there in a play-in. We're, a game and a half out of a play-in. So we're right there as far as like actually being in the mix. We were able to weather it without Anthony Davis. We get the trade for Hachimura. That was huge and has us excited and pumped. And then you see LeBron doing the things that LeBron's doing. So you got to imagine the front office wants to make a move or do something. They should at least. And now we got news that Anthony Davis is back. I'm happy. I'm comfortable and happy with where we're at. Would I like us to be better in a better position? Of course. But, I am comfortable where we are. But as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Are you excited about this news? Are you pumped? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I would love to hear them. So let me know down in the comment section below.